So what do you get when you mix The Hunger Games with the film The Hunt and then you sprinkle on some cloning? You get this film, Duel. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Duel, which is going to be in theaters April 15th and then on demand in digital and AMC Plus May 20th. Now, this film, as I said, is a mixture of The Hunger Games and the film The Hunt, and then you sprinkle on some cloning in it. I'm going to break it all down and whatnot, but this film I definitely had fun with. Like, the thing is, I like this film to a certain extent, and then I just begin to just love it. So like the deeper the film got, the more I just appreciated the craft in the film. The film is not perfect. The film isn't, going to be the best film you've ever seen, but it absolutely will be fun and worth a watch. Now, I gotta say, what drew me to this? Oh, it's the cast here. It's the cast. Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad and Need for Speed, which I really love, but I know a lot of people didn't. Theo James from the Divergent franchise. Where has he been? I think the guy is great, which I got some things to really talk about with him in this in a second. But where has he been? I feel like I haven't seen him in anything in a while, but could be wrong. But totally let me know if you've seen something in him recently that's worth watching. And then Karen Gillan, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, we know her. She's fantastic. She's in Guardians of the Galaxy is maybe her most notable project, but she has a ton of other good films, shall I add. But as her as your lead, it was a no-brainer for me. Karen is fantastic, and she really brought it in this film. I'm going to start off with her because I will say that if you watch this film on mute, her mannerisms, her facial expressions are worth the storytelling alone. She's so good. So good. And then she really does some magical things in this because the cloning thing, and it's her character that's being cloned, so that means you have her basically mirroring herself however it was shot, but still to really have like that cadence of basically looking the same but actually sounding different and really carrying a really believable conversation and that bouncing off of each other. Fantastic. Really is. Like, Karen really did an amazing job in this. So there's that. Actually, let's just talk about that. So Karen plays a character, Sarah, who has received some terrible news. She has a terminal illness and she's gonna die. And by the way, everybody that knows this is literally very harsh about it. Like, no one's being nice about the idea that she's gonna die. And I think that's because the perception of death in this society is okay, because if you're going to die, you can be cloned. And if you clone, it just eases the grieving, the transitioning process and everything for your family and your loved ones, whatever it may be. And that's what Sarah decides to do. She decides to opt into this cloning procedure to make it all easy for everybody. But, the doctor told her she had a 99% chance she was going to die. But her being the luckiest person ever, that 1% kicked in where they decided, and where she ended up getting the news that, hey, you have miraculously recovered. You're good. Everything's good. And because of the cloning process being, there's some legal ramifications and governance on it. Well, two people can't exist. Therefore, the clone must be decommissioned. But the decommission process failed. Therefore, there's only one way to handle this. That is a court-ordered, mandated duel to the death, where that's exactly what it is. Like the Hunger Games and like the Hunt. You face your counterpart and only one can come out. So there is that. Now, let's go back to Theo, because Theo plays Robert Michaels, who opens up this film before the title screen. So you really get the toning of this film bright and early, where he is facing his counterpart. Duel to the death, and it's televised, so you got folks watching this. It's entertainment, you know what I mean? That's where the Hunger Games, all this stuff comes into play. But yeah, that was the example of what the expectations of what a duel is and what the toning of the film is going to be. I have to say, if I just had my own personal wish list here, I wish we, because I want to see more Theo. I think he's fantastic. The action sequence that he has in this is, he doesn't have much screen time in this film, but for this short period duration of that he does, he's fantastic. I think he actually is great. In the Divergent series was not good, but I thought he was absolutely the best parts of it, and I would like to see him more in that capacity, much like we got in this. Therefore, I would love to get a prequel of this, focusing on his character and how he ended up in the duel. Because I'm telling you, like, as soon as the movie starts with him, you're just like, oh, this is going to be interesting, because it's cinematic, it's action packed, and he does a good job in bringing it in that short duration of screen time he has, So I want more Theo, and I think that his character Robert Michaels, if we got a prequel of that, I would be okay with that. That's just saying here, folks. But with Sarah now Sarah's husband is a complete dick. Like, he's already off to Sarah 2, Sarah double, the Sarah clone, because he's out here saying, well, the original Sarah don't do this and that and whatnot, because the whole idea was that Sarah was supposed to take over her life. Sarah clone was supposed to take over her life, not steal it. So she's over-asserting herself in a lot of different situations and basically trying to just get rid of her before she actually dies. And that was before she got the news that she wasn't going to die. So that's the conflict is between Sarah and the Sarah clone, where it was just like, this is my life. You can't have that. And she's just like, no, I'm the better one. Your husband wants me. I'm here to stay. That's kind of how that's kind of gone and whatnot. Then you got the husband that's just a complete dick. There's some other family ramifications, and there's other things that goes about in this film. But Sarah has a lot of conflict of not only getting the bad news, but also kind of losing her life right in front of her eyes. So she's doing whatever she can to prepare to win this duel by any means necessary to not only get her husband back, but to reclaim her life. So if I had to kind of sum this up, it's a love revenge story, so to say, because somebody took her man and she ain't happy about it. So there's that. Now, Aaron plays Trenton, who is an expert of the duels. He's going to show her the ropes. He's going to show her the weapons that's going to be available, the strategy, sort of the psychology you want to have going into this, because she has no training at all. So she's coming in here preparing for the biggest fight of her life with no type of back training at all. But with that being said, these are some of the funniest, best parts of this film. I love Aaron Paul, and Aaron and Karen clearly had so much fun in the filming of this, because not only the training choreography was just kind of campy at times, they're having so much fun. They're dancing to the Yin Yang Twins, and it's just the funniest thing ever. And I just think it should be totally illegal for them to ever share the screen again, because God, I could not stop laughing. They were so good, and I could not. I was having a laugh attack, and I had to kind of rewind the film a little bit because I just could not get over how silly they were. So while like the film sort of gives you like it's going to be pretty gory, pretty brutal, it is very campy. It is very silly at times, but it's ultimately fun. That's for sure. And there's a high level of method acting in it. Like for real, like for real. But like Aaron is so good, and he doesn't have much screen time as well, sort of towards the end of the film when the training comes about, but they made the best of it. Aaron and Karen really have some amazing scenes together, and it just was some of the best parts of it. But with that being said, I got to kind of go back to Karen again, and with Sarah, and even when she has these scenes with her Sarah double, they're so good, and just the cadence that she has to make these two characters stand apart, although they're identical, and although she's playing them both, really handles it so good. I mean, again, I don't know if this film works if it wasn't for her performance. Like, I'll be brutally honest. It had to be her in order for this to make it work, and she brought it. Like 100%, she brought it. And like I said, I like this film going into it, and getting halfway through, I was like, oh, I like this film. But then about time the film got really deep into it, I was like, I love this. This is a solid film. I had a lot of fun. I think you will too. Like I said, it is campy. It's not perfect. But you just will enjoy the character work. The actors really brought it. Like the plot is very much like I said it is. Expect no surprises on that note. And then, like I said, the action is there at times, the gore is there at times, the horror factor is there at times, the comedy is there at times. But overall, it's just fun. That's just the overall feel of this film. It's just fun. And I will say the ending will leave you with a question. And I think I understand what's happening with the conclusion of this film. I don't want to spoil anything, but I totally have a clue of what I think happens. But the ending definitely is like a mic drop, shall I say. And you're kind of like, oh, okay. So I'd be curious to see where this film, in the world that they kind of built here, a prequel or maybe even a sequel. I'm very intrigued by the concept of what this film established. So yeah, but totally check this film out. I'm not even sure how long this film was. It's probably an hour and a half, but because it was so much fun and because the pacing and everything was so good, it just breezes through and you will have a good time. You have plenty of options with it as well too. Theaters April 15th, AMC Plus, digital and on demand May 20th. Totally check it out. Jump in the comments when you do, and as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.